Hi, in this video I'm going to speak about how I cured my Achilles tendonitis problem. If you've ever had Achilles tendonitis in one of your ankles, there's almost nothing worse than that as a problem. Actually there is. It's having Achilles tendonitis in both ankles. And there's only one thing worse than that. That's having chronic Achilles tendonitis in both ankles. And that's basically what I've dealt with for the last 30 years. And I went through a bunch of things over time to try to solve the problem. Really began with ice. I had ice, and then I picked up one of these wraps from probably Home Depot or Lowe's, and I'd sit down in the chair after I'd play and I'd wrap myself up and leave it on for 10 minutes on one ankle, and then I'd switch it over to the next ankle, and my wife would hear me from the other room, and I'd be screaming for the first 3 or 4 minutes until the skin became numb because it would hurt so much. Ice is great, it was helpful, but it didn't solve my problem. I picked up one of these jade stones a couple of years ago, and I did a bunch of massaging of my Achilles with this. And this was nice. I think it was a useful device, but it didn't solve my problem. I picked up some of this after I visited the podiatrist, and they recommended that I use this on a regular basis. And of course, the thing with Achilles tendonitis is you have to give it rest, and it's hard to do. It's hard to just lay off for long periods of time. And every time I would lay off for a long period of time and I started getting involved in tennis again and playing basketball again, as I would slowly ramp up my activity, the problem would slowly return. So this is good stuff, but it didn't cure my problem either. I even bought this fancy massaging device that's built specifically for working on your Achilles. And it comes with 2 speeds, low. Well, it comes with 2 directions. There you go. Comes with 2 speeds and 2 directions. And this was actually a great device, and I used it for probably 6 months, and I used it very regularly. The whole theory with this is that it massages the Achilles tendon, and massaging the Achilles tendon is supposed to produce blood flow, and blood flow is what repairs. So I used this for about 6 months. I did like it, but to be honest, it didn't solve my problem. So what did solve my problem? This is what solved my problem. I learned how to tape my ankle properly, and that's really the thrust of this video. 95 degrees in the shade.
I live in Florida. In the summertime it's incredibly hot. We were actually playing in midday, and by the time we're done playing, we're completely drenched. Our sneakers are soaked. We actually usually you have a couple of pairs of sneakers and you rotate them because it takes a day or so for them to dry. And on my right foot I run 5 pieces of tape from the ball of my toe up to about mid-calf. Then I anchor off my arch area, and I do one loop around the back of my heel to kind of anchor it in one more spot on my lower foot. And now I'm going to anchor off the piece of tape that's running up my ankle. Just don't wrap the tape too tight, else it'll be uncomfortable and will restrict blood flow.
That's it.
Okay, I played singles for an hour and a half. I'm completely soaked, and let's see what the tape job looks like now.
So this is what it looks like afterwards, and you get good extension, but it does get a little bit loose. And that's really because of it gets wet and it stretches.
To tape both ankles, it takes about 5 minutes, and to remove all the tape takes only about 1.5 minutes.
So in terms of the products that I use this tape. I buy this off of Amazon, 32 rolls for a box, and I can do both ankles with 1 roll of tape and have tape left over. So usually I can get 3 ankles out of a roll. The box costs about $30, so it costs me about 75 cents every time I play tennis to tape up my ankles, which is, that's great. It costs $2 for a can of tennis balls, so 75 cents for my ankles is not a lot. I use this tape in the winter time when it's a little cooler in Florida and I'm not, drenched in sweat, and I'll use this tape to anchor the tape that runs under my foot and up the back of my Achilles. So this is the anchor tape that I'll use, and again, I can only use this in the drier seasons. For people that play in drier climates or play up north, this might be a good solution for the anchor tape. The glue doesn't have quite so much glue in it, and it doesn't bother your skin at all. And this is the product that I use for that. So this works out quite well. To be honest, this kinesiology tape, it just didn't do anything. It's very, very expensive. So each time you play, if you use this, it's really, really expensive, and it's too stretchy. It just didn't do the trick at all for me. All right, so if you suffer from chronic Achilles tendonitis, learn how to tape your ankle. It's very fast, it's inexpensive, and for me, it was exceptionally effective. It has solved my problem. All right, thanks for listening. Hope you found this informative.